Okay men, step aside. This one's for the ladies. In this video, we talk to Hannah from the Talented Ladies Club. She shares the two main paths that you can take if you want to start an online business. She also drops some real value bombs with her 20 plus years of online business experience. And she talks at the end of this video about the 5-step process to come up with an idea for your own online business. So check it out. G'day Hannah, welcome Hannah from Talented Ladies Club. Welcome to the LWAH at Home YouTube channel. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, of course, not a problem at all. Now, first of all, to kick things off, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and Talented Ladies Club?
Professionally, I was a copywriter, advertising copywriter. So since the mid-90s, I've worked in ad agencies in Hong Kong and London, working for some of the world's biggest brands. Then I had children and discovered how incompatible children were with a career. When I had my daughter in 2009, I went freelance from home. I'd always worked in like big cities and like commuted out to where I lived, never really got to know people locally. So when I had my daughter, I started to get to know like women in my town, like meeting people who were around me. And I was really shocked at how many ambitious, formerly successful women, very capable women, really struggled to resume their careers once they had children. And at that time, there was really nothing online that spoke to these women at all. It was sort of a bit like the general consensus of anything you consumed online was like, okay, maybe you had a career. Now you should be grateful to like work at a supermarket checkout, It was a bit like depressing like that. So I just decided to create it myself. There was nothing there. So that gave me the idea to start TLC, Talented Ladies Club. And my goal was to inspire and empower women to still do things they loved, earn the money they deserved, and make a difference in the world and give their lives meaning through work, be it a freelance career, be it a flexible career, freelance work, or starting a business. And I launched TLC in 2013, and it's just grown from there.
Fantastic. I think it's such a noble cause. In fact, my wife, we've got 2 kids, and my wife was just saying the other day how, career and kids, they just don't work together very well. It's trying to pick kids up and drop them off, and school starts and holidays and everything that goes on. It's just such a clash. And so, and I totally agree. Men really don't understand how tricky and it can be for women coming out of the maternity leave and trying to get back into the career, trying to pick up where they left off, or discovering that their life has totally changed and their mindset has changed, and maybe they don't want to be going back to that job they had, and they don't want to be, a year or 2 behind the people around them. So I think it's a totally noble cause. I think it's really fantastic. Now, the title of this video was some business ideas for ladies with low investment. Have you got a couple up your sleeve that you could share with us?
Yeah, there's a couple of things, but first I just want to say like a big no-no. One of the things that a lot of mums are targeted with is called multi-level marketing, or MLM, which kind of tries to kind of occupy this space and do a solution. So it will often say you can start a business with about, I don't know, like $200. And 99.6% of these people on average will lose money. So the first thing is just don't do that.
I agree.
Okay, good, I'm glad. There's 2 things really that you could do. So one is looking at the skill set you have. Like there's a massive freelance market today. And so the chances are in your career, you have picked up marketable skills and you may not know that they're marketable right now. So you can have a look at skills. So like if you're good at writing, you could be a kind of freelance writer, you could be design. Even if you don't feel like you quite yet have the level that you require to go to the open market, you can do online courses to kind of top yourself up. So the first thing I would say is look at skills that you have that you can go out into the world and freelance or consult in. And LinkedIn is a great place to do that. I mean, obviously you've got specific sites that you can sell freelance services through. Some of them are quite lowly paid. You can find yourself competing with people who live in countries who their hourly rate is much lower there, so they can outbid you. But what I would say is you're never going to compete on those platforms, but places like LinkedIn, build a LinkedIn network of people you used to work with, and maybe go out and freelance the things that you used to do for an agency or for a company, which is what I did as a writer. It can take time to build an audience, but there are lots of people now, there are articles on our site, there are articles on other sites as well, where people kind of talk about things that work and the things that don't work. And I do think LinkedIn is a great platform for that. So firstly, market the skills that you have acquired through your career and go out and sell them out in the free market. The second thing is, one of the things about MLM is often it is selling a physical product like a soap or like a makeup or things like that, and you don't have to go through an MLM to do that. You can either, if you are someone that loves creating things, so like if you love baking, bake cakes and find out a market for those. If you love kind of making kind of face creams through kind of like organic ingredients, do that. But if you don't make things, you can go on sites like I think Alibaba and things like that and find kind of products that you can buy in bulk at cheap prices and sell. Now, the key thing with all of these things is basically finding a market, finding a group of people that have a problem they want to solve, because all businesses solve problems. So, it can be like, I really want a face cream that's made from like organic ingredients, that is natural, it's freshly made, that's going to be one. Or it can just be like, I want badges for my kind of coat and I want cute badges. But find out people who are looking for something, and then creating a product, creating a brand, which again, these things can be done today quite simply. There are lots of sites where you can develop a logo for free. Wix has got a free logo builder, which is really good. So you can build a logo for free, get a site, get it, social media following going. The important thing there is finding a market of people who need what it is you want to sell, and finding a niche market. I would say whether you are selling your freelance services or you're selling a product, if you try and compete with everyone, you're never ever going to get much traction. It's far better to think, who is a small niche? So for example, if you're a freelance writer, you might think, well, I worked in the pharmaceutical industry, so therefore I'm going to position myself as a pharmaceutical writer because I can talk very specifically. Yeah, exactly. It's very specifically. And the same with products. Don't try and think, oh, I'm going to make badges for everyone. Think, well, I'm going to make badges for people who love cycling because that's my passion. What I will say to anyone is get your pricing right. That is the classic mistake that people make. They kind of think, they kind of like approach things in a bit like a hobby kind of point of view, where they're just grateful for any money that they make. And quite often I work with people who establish themselves as freelancers or businesses, and they think they were doing quite well, but for some reason they're just not earning money. And when I sit down with them, we break down how much time they spend on things, what their costs are. They're always making far less than they thought. And actually per hour, they'd be better off working in a basic minimum wage job. And the classic thing that they don't include is they'll include their immediate costs, but not their greater costs, things like Wi-Fi, postage, or they won't include all their time. They'll just include their time when they're working on something, not the time they've spent marketing and the time they spent invoicing and things like that. So what I would say is take the time to get your pricing right. There is no point spending love, sweat, tears, time, and hope building something if your pricing model is wrong, and you're never going to make money. It's really, really demoralizing to get 3 years down the line and have worked really hard and just look at your bank account and think, I'm just not making any money and I can't see a way out of that. So get your pricing right from the start.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Wow. Okay. Yeah, you covered a lot there. You were choosing the right niche, marketing, thinking about your pricing, financial viability. Wow. Okay, that was deep. So the first one we talked about was essentially freelancing, choosing a skill that you have or working to your strengths. The second one we just dived into, I've kind of got lost into what you were talking about there. It was amazing.
Commerce. Yeah.
Yes. you have a third for us? That was some real value bombs there. I appreciate that.
Okay, oh my goodness, I don't know. I kind of think I've covered off selling services or selling a product. I kind of covered off everything. Yeah. So yeah, I don't. I mean, again, one thing. I mean, I know that you've kind of looked at our kind of like the 5-step idea process to coming up with the business idea. What I always say to people is, and this is like a general thing rather than a specific idea to go down, is just look for problems. Look for things that you complain about or you hear people complain about, because that's really where businesses fill gaps and solve problems. So if you're like in your town and everyone's going, God, I'd really love a coffee shop, there's no good coffee shop here, I wish there was a coffee shop, then maybe well, maybe there should be a coffee shop, and obviously that doesn't tick the box for kind of low income, low kind of, low outgoing to start up, but just think about, what do you complain about? What do other people complain about? Is there a problem that you notice that maybe you can solve?
Yeah, and that little thing that niggles with yourself as well. We've all got those little things that over time we just get used to it and we live with it. But every now and then when we take a step back and go, you know what? I am so sick of tying shoelaces. Why haven't the women's high heel industry or whatever, obviously I'm not a shoe guy, but there are these things the niggles that we all have, and yes, I noticed in that the ideas concept that you share on your website, that diving into your target market and doing a bit of research there. I think one thing that people should avoid is asking their friends a bit too much, because friends are always gung-ho, yes, that's great. And then it's like, okay, well, you said that was a good idea. Do you want to buy my product? They're like, oh, no, I don't want to buy it. No, that's fine. I'm good. So yeah, researching the actual target market and doing some proper research with people that you don't know, to work out if your idea is viable, a good idea or a bad idea, should be changed in some way, whatever it might be. But yes, totally agree with you. Now, I did want to share, let me just see if I can share my screen. I did want to share with the audience, you've got some fabulous resources on your website. I encourage anyone watching to go to the website. We'll have it linked in the description below, talentedladiesclub.com. Now, you've just come out with a course, Launch Your Marketing Plan in Just 8 Weeks. You've also got a business club. This is sounds like a much more comprehensive sort of deal. You join it, you go along in the process for 12 months from woe to go, and get a lot of your time, I would assume, I think. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Yep, and you've also got your 5-step business ideas formula. Is out of those 3, is there any that you would like to just quickly chat about for a minute or two?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone is at a starting point, the 5-step formula is definitely a good workbook. Like if you're in the position like, we've been talking about now, where you want to earn money and you don't really have an idea, it takes you through kind of the process of how you come up with an idea and as you say, how you validate it. And absolutely agree with you. Your friends will always say nice things to you because they like you, hopefully. Yeah. And so they're going to like your ideas, but they're not going to be a target audience. You need to go out to people who don't like you, ideally. Yeah. If someone who doesn't like you likes your idea, you're onto a winner. But yeah, so this takes you through the process of how you come up with an idea and how you validate it. So yeah. That's a free download we have. So anyone who is stuck and wants some ideas and a bit of inspiration, that could be a good thing. The marketing course, you're right. We just launched that this week. This is based on my approach to marketing. So, I mean, I've worked in advertising since the mid-90s, but when you're an advertising agent, you're a tiny cog in a massive machine. Obviously, I would get a brief that someone else had planned and someone else had written, and then I would just write the copy for it. So for me, with Talented Ladies Club, marketing was a huge learning curve for me. with lots of highs and many more lows than highs, actually. And you realize that selling something is something like there's things that work and things that don't work, and processes you have to follow, and whatever it is that you're selling, there are some key stages you have to go through. And it's taken me about 8 years to get to a point where I feel confident that I have a process I can take other people through, that I've honed it over time. I know what works and what doesn't. So basically this guides people through my approach to marketing. I kept it really simple. It doesn't overwhelm people with lots of theory. It's practical. So it takes you through over 8 weeks. You build your marketing plan in stages. So you then have a marketing plan that is evergreen. So the idea behind this is that, and you should be marketing all the time. You should be bringing people into your marketing funnel and nurturing until they're ready to buy. And that's what we teach you to do. We also teach you to build campaigns if you're doing specific campaigns. But basically, it's a best practice approach to marketing, and I show you how we do marketing, and it helps you build a plan. And it's teaching you how to fish rather than giving you fish. So rather than someone else creating a plan for you, you create your own. But you can create your own anytime. You've got this for life. So any time in the future you've got a new product, a new business, you know how to put a marketing plan. You've got all the bricks there. For people starting their first business, maybe their second or third business,
one of the best quotes that I've ever heard is from, I think it was Peter Drucker, who you may know, who a marketing legend, I think he was, did books and presentations and everything. And he says that the two main functions of business is marketing and innovation. And at the time that I first heard that, I was like, really? Okay, marketing, innovation. Since then, the years have passed. I now run a blog that is effectively all about marketing, and I totally see it. You can have an average product with fantastic marketing, and it will beat a fabulous product with poor marketing any day of the week. So it's such an important function, and I think that
absolutely, no, I can't agree more with that. It is, and it makes me really sad when I see people who've got great products, they're doing great things, and they just can't sell it. And the thing is, this association, marketing and sales, basically pretty much the same thing. And people have this kind of aversion to it, like, oh my God, it's dirty. I don't want to do that. It's horrible, icky. It's like a secondhand car salesman. But the fact is, we're always selling. When you first met your wife, when I met my husband, you go on those dates, you're selling yourself to that person. You want them to like you. And to me, I reframe selling for people and go, basically, I say my approach is businesses solve problems. They all do. They wouldn't exist if they didn't. They've innovated to solve a problem. And all you're doing is you're finding people who've got that problem and you're telling them how you solve it. And they can choose to buy from you or not. You're not going to put a gun to their head saying you have to buy my product or my service. All marketing is informing people how you help them. That's it. And when you look at it that way, it takes some of that fear we have about it, that we are forcing people to give us money. It's not. They don't have to buy from us if our product isn't good enough. But it's, as you say, you don't have a business without marketing.
Yep, and it's not even whether your product is good enough or bad enough, but sometimes it's just if that person is at the right place with their, whatever the problem is that your business can solve, are they at the place where they're just so desperate they need a solution right now, or maybe they just totally gel with your brand and who you are and your product, or, there's any number of reasons. But
that's it. And just to say quickly there before you move on, is that the biggest mistake people make with marketing, and I have made myself in the past, is there is an assumption that if you find the right people, you've got the right product, the right price, you know that you've got all that correct. You go out to market and you go, hey, here's my thing. And they don't buy. And then you become really disheartened. You think, oh my God, they don't like me. What I'm selling is good enough. But actually, we all need to be nurtured. We all need to go through, like you're saying, that process. But they may have a need for something, but they need to build know, like, and trust with you. So it's like at the middle of the funnel, and people often leave that bit out. They find the right people, they go out to them going, what a great product I've got this bright, shiny marketing campaign, and people don't buy. And it just takes time for people to purchase. And that length of time varies. Lots of different factors influence it. But yeah, like, you have to warm people up. You have to nurture them until they're ready to buy from you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, then they talk about how these days, or some time ago, the number of touch points that someone would need before they bought off you was, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, whatever it might be. And these days it's like 20 because there's so much information and
Yes.
likes and attention grabbing happening everywhere, people need so many more touch points before they will know, like, and trust you. But yeah, no, totally agree with you. Thank you so much for your time, Hannah. That has been very insightful. I'm sure the audience has gained some value from that. So appreciate it. Again, head over to Talented Ladies Club. We've got a link in the description below to head over there. And yeah, thanks very much, Hannah.
Thank you, Rowan.
Talk again soon. Bye.
Bye.
I hope you got something out of that. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel, by all means, hit this subscribe button here. Otherwise, see you in the next video. Have a fantastic day. Bye.